G'day, Nigel from Sax School. You know, if you're pretty new to improvising, I bet you've reached that point, all of us have, right, where you feel as if you're just playing the same thing over and over again. You don't feel like you're coming up with anything new. And it gets really frustrating because your improvising sounds kind of boring and stagnant. You're just struggling to come up with that new idea to move you forward to that next level. Does it sound familiar? I bet it does, because it's something that all of us struggle with. And actually, I know inside my Sax School community, it's something that people ask for help with all the time. If you don't know, Sax School is this big online community of learners. There's thousands of people who use my lessons and courses to learn and improve their saxophone. And I make lessons all the time inside the Sax School members area. But just this last couple of weeks, I've released a new course called Creative Improvising for Saxophone. I thought it'd be fun today to have a look at one of the lessons from that course, just to give you a bit of a sneak peek. Because this course, I wrote it specifically to help with this problem of learning how to be creative. Because that's the thing, right? To be creative, to be good at coming up with new, interesting ideas, you got to practice it. You got to learn how to do it and how to develop that skill. It's like practicing your tone or your technique. You practice your creativity in the same way. Should we have a look at this lesson? At the start of this lesson, this is one of the first lessons in the course, and I'm actually talking about the concept of using shapes and intervals. Have a look. So what we're talking about here is we're looking at the shapes of the melodic lines that you're creating when you're improvising, and also the intervals that you build into those melodic lines. Now, I love this approach because just by thinking about a different type of shape, it's quite an easy concept, right? A shape in your melodic line can force you to do something that you wouldn't normally do. And similarly, having to incorporate a certain interval is going to force you into something that you might not normally do too. Now, both of these concepts, we're going to just have a quick look at them. I'm going to look at 4 different exercises with each concept, but you'll be able to see that there's a million things that you can do beyond what we're going to talk about in this lesson. And because you've got the backing track that comes with this lesson. Oh, by the way, if you want to get that backing track and the worksheet and all the bits that come with this, in fact, you can get access to the whole course if you sign up for that 30-day free trial I've got going for Sax School at the moment. It's actually a free trial, so I want you to check it out and see if it's right for you. But you can get access to that course and all of my other courses, and there's hundreds of other lessons in there as well. I'll put a link up here anyway, mcgillmusic.com. Anyway, let's get back to the lesson. Because you've got the backing track that comes with this lesson, you can then, once you work through this lesson, use that backing track to challenge yourself with any number of different options. So let's get started. We're going to start with the really easy stuff. For this particular lesson, we're going to use the same backing track all the way through. And the backing track uses 2 chords. Now for the tenor saxophone, we're going to start with a D minor chord, and then we're going to move to a G7 chord. So I've written some notes out for you as a guide. And if you look at your music for the tenor saxophone, you'll notice that for the D minor 7, I've written out a D Dorian mode. If you need some help on modes, check out the Modes mini course. But the notes are this: D, E, F natural, G, A, B, C, and then D. Now, of course, you can use that over your whole range. And the key anchor notes, the most important chord tones or anchor notes from that D minor 7 chord are the D, the F, the A, and the C. So that's the first note, the third note, the 5th note, and the 7th note. Anchor notes are really important. They're the most important notes structurally from that chord that you could play. So they're the strongest notes. They've got the most weight to them. Because those are the notes that the bass player is playing. They're the notes that the guitar player is playing. They're the notes that the piano player is playing. That's why I'm going like that, because that's what a piano player does, right? So anchor notes are super important. So you could use the modes, or you could just stick to those anchor notes. It's completely up to you. But the first 2 bars are the D minor chord, and the second 2 bars are the G7 chord. For the G7 chord, I've written out a G Mixolydian mode, which is G, A, B, C, D, E, F natural, and G. G mixolydian, it's the same as the C major scale that's starting on the G. And so the anchor notes in there are G, B, D, and F natural. So on the alto saxophone, we're going to use some different chords. For you, in your key, it's going to be an A minor scale, an A minor chord rather for the first 2 bars, followed by a D7 chord. So an A minor, we're going to use the A Dorian. These notes, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G, and A. Anchor notes in there, remember it's the first note, third note, fifth note, and seventh note. So we've got the A, the C, the E, and the G. The second, so that's for 2 bars. So we've got 2 bars of the A minor 7, and then we've got 2 bars of D7. So for that, we're going to use the D mixolydian, which is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, and D. Now you've probably already worked out what the anchor notes are for this chord, because it's the first note, third note, fifth note, and seventh note. And in fact, if you look at the music, I've written all the modes with just no tails on them, and the anchor notes are the notes that have got the tails on the notes. Okay, so you can either read it as the modes, or you can read the anchor notes in there. I thought that was clever. I hope that's helped you. Let me know in a comment if it's easy for you to read, because I'd love to find an easy way to make these charts so you haven't got lots of music. Okay, so the anchor notes D, F sharp, A, and C. Let's get started with our first challenge. I'm going to use my tenor for this first challenge, and the first challenge is a shape challenge, and this is an easy one. What I want to do, here's the rules, right? What I want to do is just look at ascending lines, only playing lines that are going to go up. Now that 4-bar pattern, what's going to happen is I'm going to play through for 4 bars, and then you get to do 4 bars, back to me, back to you. We're going to do that 4 times. Now, when you're making up your lines, I want you to stick to the modes or stick to the anchor notes. You've got them all written down in front of you, and I hope you're feeling comfortable with them. If the mode is too many notes to think about, then just stick with the anchor notes. But for this one, what we're going to do is just make an ascending line. So a line could be 1 bar long, it could be 2 bars long. If you're really adventurous, it could be a 4-bar long line, but I'd rather you think about it in small chunks. But each small chunk has only got to move upwards. I'm going to try and do this. I don't know if I'm going to get it right. We'll see what happens, right? But that's the rules. You ready for the challenge? I got my tenor. You grab your alto or your tenor. I'm going to put the track on now and let's see what happens. Okay, so that was kind of fun, and I had to really think about that. I had to think ahead a little bit so that I made sure that I did definitely go up with every single line. But that's the point of this exercise. It's forcing you to think a little bit more about what you're actually doing. Okay, well, let's try mixing that together now. I'm going to go back to my tenor for this one. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to go up and then down. Okay, so every line that we play has to go up, but it has to come back down. Now, it doesn't have to come all the way back down. It could go down further than it goes up, but it must go up and then it must go down, okay, in the one line. So if you're doing a 1-bar line, in that 1 bar, you've got to go up and down. Or if it's a 2-bar pattern, a 2-bar phrase you're playing, you're going to have to go up and down within that 2 bars. Those are the rules. Let's have some fun with this. Okay, I thought that was a good challenge. I enjoyed doing that one. I thought it felt a bit more natural in a way, but I did have to be quite strategic about it. And did you find the same thing? You've got to remember to go back down at the end of your line. Oh man, there's so much stuff in this course. And even in this lesson, it goes on to run through a bunch more exercises. And it's stuff that'll really help you. Anyway, that's just a bit of a quick sneak peek. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope you found that interesting. I think it's really important to be strategic and have a plan of attack when it comes to difficult concepts like improvising and creativity. And that's really what these courses are about. It gives you some techniques and some skills, and also with my courses it gives you some resources that you can use to help develop those skills and practice them. And the idea really is that you can work through those lessons, and then you can take those resources and you can use them in your daily practice so that you can gradually, bit by bit, every day, get a little bit better. It makes a huge difference. And I think it's wonderful getting the feedback already from Sax School students that new approach is opening up a whole new bunch of ideas. Anyway, if that's interesting to you, go check it out. 30-day trial at mcgillmusic.com. You can get started, get access to that and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. I'd love to hear what you think about it, because I know that it's helped, with thousands and thousands of people use those lessons. I'm sure it'll help you too, so you can try it out and see if it's a good fit for you. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful to you. If it's your first time here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel here, because I'm putting new lessons out like this all the time, every single week. And the idea really is to help you to learn saxophone, make it more fun, and help you to learn a bit faster. So click subscribe so you get notified about the new lessons. And keep practicing hard. I'll catch you next time.